If you're over 65 and relying on walking to stay strong, you may be missing the very exercises that protect you from falls and loss of independence. Walking feels safe, but it doesn't train the muscles that keep you upright and confident as you age. For many adults over 65, walking has been positioned as the gold standard of healthy aging. Doctors mention it, friends recommend it, and it feels safe, familiar, and responsible. So people commit to daily walks believing they are doing everything right to protect their health, strength, and independence. The challenge is that this belief, while well-intentioned, is incomplete. Walking is beneficial for the heart and circulation, but it does not fully address the specific physical changes that occur with aging. When walking becomes the only form of exercise, important systems that keep the body stable and resilient are left untrained. As we get older, the body does not lose ability evenly. Certain muscles weaken faster than others, particularly those responsible for standing up, stabilizing the hips, and catching the body when balance is challenged. Walking moves the body forward in a straight line, using the same limited range of motion repeatedly. It does not require the legs to push strongly, the body to control downward movement, or the balance system to react to changes. This is why many people who walk every day still find it harder to rise from a chair, climb stairs, or feel steady on uneven ground. Another common myth is that feeling weaker or less stable is simply something to accept with age. Many older adults quietly assume that stiffness, hesitation, or fear of falling is inevitable, even if they stay active. This belief can be damaging because it discourages people from addressing the real issue. The problem is not age itself, and it is not a lack of effort. It is a lack of the right kind of movement. The body adapts very specifically to what it is asked to do. If it is never asked to practice strength, balance, or controlled movement, those abilities fade, regardless of how much someone walks. There is also a misunderstanding about safety. Walking feels safe because it is familiar, but familiarity does not equal protection. In fact, falls often occur during ordinary activities like standing up, turning, or stepping sideways, not during long walks. When exercise does not prepare the body for these moments, confidence slowly erodes. People begin to move more cautiously, limit their activities, and rely more on support, which further weakens the very systems they depend on. Reframing exercise after 65 is not about doing more, pushing harder, or chasing fitness trends. It is about choosing movements that support daily life. The goal is not to walk farther, but to stand stronger, balance better, and move with confidence. When exercise is viewed as preparation for real life rather than just physical activity, it becomes clearer why walking alone is not enough. Over the years of working as a physician with adults in their 60s, 70s and beyond, one pattern appears again and again. People come in doing what they believe is everything right. They walk most days, stay generally active, and try to take care of themselves, yet something still feels off. They describe needing a moment before taking their first step after standing, gripping the arm of a chair when getting up, or feeling uneasy on stairs. These are not dramatic complaints, but they are meaningful ones, because they signal a quiet shift in how the body is functioning. In clinical practice, these small struggles often matter more than obvious injuries. Difficulty standing from a chair or fear of losing balance rarely shows up overnight. It develops slowly, often dismissed as normal aging. I have spoken with many patients who minimized these signs for years until a fall, near fall, or sudden loss of confidence forced them to pay attention. What stands out is how surprised they are when they learn that these changes are not inevitable and can often be reversed or significantly improved. Trust is built not by alarming people, but by recognizing their lived experience. Many older adults are not looking to become athletes. They want to feel steady when they walk through their home, confident when they step outside, and capable of living independently without constant worry. When a patient says they no longer carry laundry downstairs or avoid certain outings, it is rarely due to pain alone. It is usually fear of falling or not being able to recover if they lose balance. These are deeply human concerns, and they deserve to be addressed with respect and clarity. From a medical standpoint, these struggles reflect predictable changes in how the body responds to aging. Strength declines, reaction time slows, and balance becomes less automatic unless it is practiced. This does not mean the body is failing. It means it is adapting to reduced demands. In rehabilitation settings, I have seen individuals in their late 70s and 80s regain abilities they thought were gone permanently simply because they were guided to use their bodies in more purposeful ways. What often reassures people most is knowing they are not alone. Nearly everyone experiences some degree of balance loss or reduced confidence with age, even those who appear outwardly active. When this is explained calmly and without judgment, people begin to relax and listen. They stop blaming themselves and start focusing on what they can control. Professional experience brings a clear message. The body responds at any age when given the right signals. Strength can return, balance can improve, and confidence can grow again. The key is understanding that these changes are common, understandable, and addressable, not a personal failure or a permanent condition. To understand why balance and strength change with age, it helps to think of the body as a well-used road. When a road is traveled the same way every day, certain lanes stay smooth while others slowly crack and fade because they are rarely used. The body works in a similar way. The movements you repeat often stay available, while the ones you stop using gradually weaken. As people age, daily life tends to become more predictable and cautious, which means fewer challenges for the muscles and balance systems that protect against falls. Inside the body, there are systems whose job is to keep you upright and steady. These systems rely on regular reminders to stay sharp. When you were younger, standing up quickly, stepping sideways, or catching yourself without thinking happened naturally throughout the day. Over time, those movements become less frequent. Chairs get softer, routines get safer, and the body adapts by doing less work. It is not that the muscles disappear. It is that the brain stops asking them to contribute as much. A helpful way to picture this is to imagine your balance and strength as a conversation between your brain and your body. When you stop challenging that conversation, the message becomes quieter. The brain no longer expects the legs to respond quickly, so they don't. The legs no longer push with confidence, so the brain becomes cautious. This loop slowly reduces stability, even though nothing feels dramatically wrong at first. Another simple metaphor is a three-legged stool. One leg represents strength, one represents balance, and one represents coordination. For the stool to be stable, all three legs need to be solid. As people age, walking and daily movement often keep one leg strong enough, but the others are neglected. When one leg weakens, the stool does not collapse immediately, but it becomes wobbly. That wobble shows up as hesitation, slower movement, or fear of falling. Importantly, this process is not a sign of damage or disease in most people. It is a sign of underuse. The body is efficient and will conserve energy by letting go of abilities it is not asked to maintain. This is why even people who consider themselves active can feel unsteady. Activity alone does not guarantee balance or strength. The type of activity matters. The encouraging part of this explanation is that underused systems respond quickly when they are needed again. The brain is remarkably adaptable, even later in life. When you introduce small, purposeful challenges, the communication between brain and body becomes clearer and stronger. Movements feel more controlled, reactions improve, and confidence follows naturally. Understanding this makes the problem feel less mysterious and far more manageable, because it shows that the changes are not fixed, but responsive to how the body is used. The solution does not need to be complicated, intimidating, or exhausting. In fact, the most effective movements for adults over 65 are often simple and familiar, because they are designed to support the exact tasks people want to keep doing every day. The goal is not to exercise for exercise's sake, but to remind the body how to move with control, strength, and confidence in ordinary situations. One of the most valuable movements is standing up and sitting down from a chair. This may seem basic, but it directly trains the muscles that allow someone to get out of bed, rise from the toilet, or stand up from a sofa. To do this, sit in a sturdy chair with your feet flat on the floor and slightly apart. Lean your chest forward just enough to bring your weight over your feet. Then push through your legs to stand. Once standing, pause briefly, then slowly lower yourself back down. The slow lowering is just as important as standing up because it builds control. Doing this 5 to 10 times sends a clear message to the legs that they are still needed and capable. Another important movement gently challenges balance in a safe way. Standing heel to toe helps the body relearn how to stabilize itself when the base of support is narrow. Stand near a counter or chair so you can lightly touch it if needed. Place one foot directly in front of the other and hold that position for 10 to 20 seconds. Breathe normally and keep your gaze forward. Then switch feet. This trains the body to stay steady during moments like stepping over a curb or turning in a tight space, which are common situations where falls occur. A third movement helps reconnect the brain and the legs through coordination. Marching in place is a simple way to do this. Stand tall, hold onto a stable surface if needed, and slowly lift one knee, then the other as if marching. The key is control rather than speed. Do this for 30 to 60 seconds. This movement improves the ability to lift the feet clearly while walking and reduces the risk of tripping. What makes these movements powerful is not how hard they feel, but how directly they translate to daily life. They prepare the body for real situations rather than abstract fitness goals. They also respect the reality that many older adults want exercises that feel safe and achievable. Consistency matters far more than intensity. Practicing these movements a few minutes, most days, allows the body to adapt gradually. Strength improves, balance becomes more automatic, and confidence grows without strain. When done regularly, these small actions protect independence in a way long walks alone cannot, because they target the exact abilities people rely on to live safely and comfortably. Understood? If you want, I can now expand keynote number 5 in the same 500-word style, or combine all 5 expanded keynotes into a single flowing long-form YouTube script that matches your reference transcript exactly and is ready to record. The most important message to remember is that aging is not something that simply happens to you. It is something you participate in every day through the choices you make. Many people believe that once strength or balance begins to fade, the window to change it has closed. In reality, the body continues to respond to gentle, consistent input at any age. What matters is not how much you do in one day, but what you do repeatedly over time. Confidence does not return all at once. It grows quietly as the body starts to feel more reliable. Each time you stand up with a little more ease or feel steadier on your feet, your mind takes note. That sense of trust in your body reduces fear, and reduced fear allows you to move more naturally. This cycle works in your favor when movements are practiced regularly, even in small amounts. This is why it helps to begin with something simple right now. If you are sitting, stand up once without rushing, then sit back down slowly. If you are standing, lift one knee gently and place it back down. These small actions remind your body that it still knows how to move with control. They are not tests. They are signals of intention. Consistency should feel manageable, not overwhelming. A few minutes each day is enough to make a difference. You do not need to wait for motivation or energy to appear. You only need to keep the promise of showing up for your body in small ways. Over time, those minutes add up to better balance, stronger legs, and greater confidence in daily life. It is also important to let go of comparison. Aging well does not mean keeping up with others or returning to how you felt decades ago. It means maintaining the ability to live your life on your own terms. Being able to move through your home without hesitation, go out without fear, and trust your footing is a powerful form of independence. This journey is not about perfection. There will be days when movement feels easier and days when it feels harder. Both are normal. What matters is continuing anyway, with patience and self-respect. The body listens closely to what you ask of it. And even small requests, repeated often, lead to meaningful change. If you are ready to make that choice, I encourage you to commit to one small movement today and another tomorrow. Write the words, "I choose consistency," in the comments to mark that decision for yourself. If this message was helpful, please like the video, subscribe for guidance created specifically for adults over 60, and share it with someone you care about. Because staying strong and confident is not about age, it is about intention.